All right, welcome everyone to day number 5, the fifth and the last day of Malaysia Blockchain Week. What is Malaysia Blockchain Week? Malaysia Blockchain Week is part of Malaysia Blockchain Month. Entire month, okay, of 6 weeks of education content that we're bringing to you every single day, 5 p.m. on a weekday to 6 p.m. Same time, come here on week 1. Okay, we are covering Malaysia. Next week, I think a lot of people are looking forward to this. We are covering DeFi. On week number 3, we're covering NFTs. On week number 4, we're covering enterprise blockchain. On week number 5, we're also doing a lot of developer boot camps. And last but not least, we're ending Malaysia Blockchain Month with week number 6, a 2-day conference called Ignite. Now, why are we doing this event? Because this event is brought to you by Access Association, Blockchain Association of Malaysia, and along with its many media partners, including Bitcoin Malaysia, Blockline, ETH TalkChain, a couple of Taiwanese media, ad media, as well as Grenade, as well as the NFT experts, okay, a marketing boutique firm called Imperium Universe. So why we're doing this event is to grow the industry. And how we do to grow the industry is to defund the industry, defomo the industry, educate and help as many of you to learn in an easy environment, okay, about what the technology offers, okay, what the progress is, what the regulatory regulation updates, how did we get here, where we are now, and how do we get to where we want to go. Why? Because this industry is fast growing. How fast? Well, if you look at, say, digital assets, okay, what are they? They live on the internet, on these decentralized networks called blockchains. And if you add them all up based on this uh, data aggregator website called CoinGecko, add them all, last year they were 250 billion. That's how big the industry is last year in May. And January this year, it hit $1 trillion for the first time. It took 12 years for us to get to $1 trillion, which is extremely huge. But think about it, it only took us 8 months. We are now in August and it's now at $2 trillion. That's how quick. But what does that mean for us, right? How do we capture, right? In terms of a country, in terms of Southeast Asia region, how do we capture, the opportunities? Are we ready? Okay. Can we get more people into this industry? So this is why we are doing this event and what we're talking about. So it wasn't always like this. Just back in 2017, okay, Malaysia Central Bank was considering to ban cryptocurrencies. Okay, it was a very different time, right? So how do we get here today? Where cryptocurrencies, okay, are now regulated in Malaysia. Now we have not just Luno, Synergy, and Tokenize. Today we have a fourth, okay, digital asset exchange. This week, okay, we talked about we invited, okay, IEO operators, okay, the people who are applying for the IEO operator license, okay, so that's also coming soon. That would mean, okay, that there will be more digital assets, okay, that can see foreseeable in the future that will be adopted in Malaysia. But so how did we get here today? That is why I have invited several OGs to join us, okay, for this 1-hour conversation, okay. That is Mastura Ishak from Might, Arthur Lee from the FinTech Association of Malaysia, FAOM, and Rene Bernard from Access Malaysia. Also, we have a special guest, okay, which I just given the hint away there, but what's that? He will be joining us shortly, okay. Maybe we'll reveal. But thanks, Rene, Arthur, and Mastura, okay, for joining us today. How are you all doing? You need to unmute yourself.
All good. Thank you. Welcome.
All right. And one more bonus, okay, panelist today is one of the founding members of Access. All right. So first question for all of you, right? When you see that last news article back in 2017, which is roughly around the time, okay, when Access Blockchain Association was formed, right? It was a very different time. Mastura, Rene, Colbert, you were the founding members, okay, of Access. Can you share the story of how the association got started?
Ladies
Uh,
first, or how do we go?
Ladies
uh,
first.
ladies first, Mastura.
Okay, I'm not ladies first. I'm actually government first. Uh,
Yes.
actually, from the government side, might had been looking at fintech and blockchain as a technology behind it since 2016. There were two of us, myself and my colleague Nash, but he's gone on to do other things now. So at that point in time, we saw that the hub was actually Singapore. I think it's quite reasonable because Singapore is a financial hub. So the first thing that came into the blockchain scene was about the financial side. And everybody wants to undo everything that was there in financial side. And Malaysia is actually not a true financial hub like Singapore. So we had look at this, and from the government side anyway, there were a few of us. There was Mind itself, MDEC, who was looking at fintech. We have ASM actually, who's looking truly on the technology side. But actually, it was magic, and it was the first exposure to the market player, which was Colbert, that had an event with Bitcoin Malaysia then. Very interesting. There were a lot of people, mostly from a personal side, I think. But if Malaysia
Hmm.
wants to come in, this is how we look at it. What area should we go into, and does it have to be a crypto in the first place, where we did not have any advantage at then? But on the industry side, we also have NEM, if you remember, NEM Global. Uh, we had close contact with them, and we were targeting to have the first center of excellence to actually study what's going on in the space with them.
Hmm.
So I think technology was the way that we wanted to come in. We wanted to create, because there were so many things that were unknown. So we wanted to create a place where we can test a POC kind of a proof of concept kind of environment, sandbox, or you want to say it now, right?
Hmm.
And we wanted to get industry voice, but how could we get into something that was not that couldn't be seen as in the normal other kind of industry? Was really very
Co-
very new,
correct.
right? So we had actually created a way to do that, and we created the KL blockchain week. That was the first one in 2017 in April,
Hmm.
and Colbert and everybody had actually managed to bring in Andreas
Yes.
to actually promote this space to our local players. And at myself, we managed to get about 300 over plus names that of people who were interested and also were involved in the space. There wasn't too many of them that was in the industry side. But we had a few good ones like TNB, and if you remember, Malaysia is probably the first one where government is backing its industry to go and test the technology itself. TNB was the first one, and we did it for energy, and it has been concluded as a proof of concept, and it worked. It's just that we have to go on, and later SC has come in and test it with Neuroware as well, and how we want to use it on the financial side. So I think it's not that it's not as bad as it was seen in the media that Malaysia was going against it. Malaysia actually has been one of the first countries that actually have come out into a framework that allows RMOs to be in existence with government backing. And I think and where access came in was that in order to get the industry voice to come in as a group, so we had to come up with this kind of grouping. And what better than creating access then in 2017, right, Colbert? I think Colbert has done and Rene as well has done major work to actually make it happen. Uh, we use access because we had connections to access Singapore then.
Hmm.
So a lot of it was actually we benchmark what they do, but Access Malaysia had actually improvised to fit local conditions. So I think from the government side, that's where it came in. And I think Access has grown from strength to strength and improvise and actually provide a very, very good input to the government in terms of what is good and what does the industry think about things or development that that's coming into the space.
Mm.
I think that's my input for now.
Right. So, Rene, you were one of the founding members of Access. In fact, you served as the president for the first 2 terms of the association. Am I correct?
Yes, right, Jason. Yes.
Right. So, now before we can actually go to where we are, right? We're talking about how did we get here right now. So, what right now our goal, okay, at Access is to grow the industry. But what was the goal back then? Do you remember? Was it
Right.
different?
Yeah, yes, sure. Of course, to bring together the players and to form possibly even one industry voice so that we can communicate with these government entities like Mastura is representing or others as an industry, not only as single players. And I think this is what we more or less achieved as one of the more recognized associations in Malaysia in this field. However, Jason, I wanted to mention one fun fact maybe in the beginning here about Access Blockchain Association. You know, when we started this, actually, it was, I don't know, more than a handful of us. It was like 10 people who started this in early 2017. And we wanted to start something maybe already with a regional partnership in mind. So we followed, I mean, it doesn't sound so well for Malaysian perspective, but we follow the Singaporean example, right, with the Access Association in Singapore. And I remember how we had these votings on our name, how to go forward with the name in the Malaysian Association. And we then were forced by ROS, the Registry of Societies, the name must be a Malaysian language name. So actually we are the Pertubuhan Rantaian Block Access Malaysia, right? Like it's
Malaysia, yes.
But then the Access, actually, why Access? This is actually, and that's the fun fact, the Access, what we followed actually means Association of Cryptocurrency Enterprises, ACC, and Startups Singapore, SS, ACCESSMY, Association of Cryptocurrency Enterprises and Startups Singapore. We don't promote that in Malaysia, of course. We just we do the access into the blockchain world of disruption, innovation for the future. But that's where Access came from, actually, right? And the Singaporean brothers and sisters over there, they are running the Access Singapore Association as our partner association in the region.
Okay. Now, Arthur, you are from the FinTech Association of Malaysia. Also, I learned that you are also one of the committee members at Labuan FinTech Association.
That's correct.
Can you share, okay, how is the blockchain conversation, okay, in the FinTech side? You know, there's a perception that blockchain and FinTech don't mix. I'd like to know what's your opinion.
Well, actually, the opinion of that, I mean, so I've been in technology for over 25 years, and to me, when innovation happens to change how we do things in the world, however that looks like, and we use technology, and if it's related to financial services, that's fintech, right? So blockchain has done that, and obviously there's a lot of use cases and a lot of funding that is going into this space of creating, not leveraging only blockchain technology, but other technologies to create a completely new transformation of let's say an industry vertical. So I guess for some people, if I do know that for a time being, there was a lot of maybe confusion or misunderstanding. When they hear blockchain, they only think cryptocurrencies, right? Because it is based on cryptography, so they think it's all crypto related, right? But I think, I think the maturity has happened when it comes to FinTech Association of Malaysia. They did create a blockchain committee, right, in which our we now have that set up, and with Labuan FinTech Association, I think there was interest in this distributed ledger technology, but it kind of didn't make sense for a lot of businesses. Like they didn't know whether or not they should really explore, because maybe it was just too new. But I think, yeah, I definitely think that things have matured. Maybe there might be some confusion still, but I think we're making progress for sure.
Okay. So in
Yeah.
terms of progress, right? Okay. Yesterday
Mm.
we had Harpreet, okay, saying,
Mhm.
and we
Mhm.
had Ibrahim Majid, who's running an initiative. We saw how in order to create a blockchain hub, okay, make Southeast Asia, make Malaysia a blockchain hub. There's it's all about coordination. It's coordinating, okay, the different stakeholders, okay, the
Right.
the consumers, the suppliers, okay, the education, the talent, supply the talent, right,
Mhm.
and etc. I asked them the question, okay, how would they rank Malaysia, right, in terms of our progress
Yeah.
right now in terms of blockchain adoption, okay?
Yeah.
Now, Ibrahim ranked 6, okay,
Okay.
from 0 to 10, 6.
Yeah.
Harpreet, okay, ranks it 7. I want
Yeah.
to ask all 4 of you, okay, what do you think where Malaysia is right now and why?
Jason,
You
before
start
6 out of what?
out of 10.
Out of
Out
10.
of 10. So 10 being like, okay, very happy, okay, with, the attractiveness of Malaysia as a, as blockchain progress, right? Very happy with the blockchain progress adoption here. 10 is very good. 0 is not happy at all. Not going good.
Well, let me start because I just
Mm.
finished talking, but I do want to add to that I thought long and hard about what that would mean, 0 to 10. And I just think from the outset of, let's say, like the Luno crypto exchange being the first registered cryptocurrency exchange, and leveraging existing frameworks that are there today already, that's huge because that's quite, I guess you could say, it's quite progressive compared to other jurisdictions, right? Even like in Hong Kong, they're still really stuck on what virtual asset means or what is a digital security, right? But Malaysia, I think, is in that sense of just accepting new technology. It's not so much the technology itself, but the fact that they can see beyond what the technology did to create whatever it did, which is basically cryptocurrencies, and then quickly adopting sort of like the framework to support it. In like you said, 2017 it was like ban all crypto, right? Where 2021 it's all reversed. It's quite quick to me, and I rate it around an 8.
Okay, very high. Mastura, what about you?
Can we ask other people first? Go last.
Go last. You want to go last? Okay, Colbert.
Okay, maybe I would say roughly maybe around 6, because right now we have regulators who understand it. We have people in government agencies like Mastura's MIT agency, they understand it. And that's a great thing because we see regulations coming in and there's actually more transparency and there's a so-called clear end road where we want to go. And of course, end of the day, we have to work hand in hand with the government side, and of course, some players could be, let's say, apprehensive of that, but of course I tell them that, end of the day, if you want the ecosystem to grow, you want more traditional finance to come in, you want the total value lock-in ecosystem to grow, you need to actually work with regulators, accountants, lawyers, and let's say even enforcement agencies, when crimes happen. And basically, so I think we are almost there, but I still rate it at 6 because we still need to develop the talent pool, need to bring in, let's say, large mining players to the region, where most of the China mining players are going to USA and other regions.
Whereas Malaysia is actually quite attractive, actually. Rene, what about you? What do you rank it for Malaysia?
6, same. I not that I only want to copy now Colbert or others, but I feel if I gave a 7, then it's only 3 more points of improvement to go. That's too high. We still can achieve more. So nothing much more to add here, but I think one point which I would like to see, but as as a foreigner in Malaysia, I'm here for many years, but still I'm a foreigner, right? So I see that Malaysia is very protective of its currency, the Malaysian ringgit, right? There is this currency exchange. What is the name of this? Some law, currency, foreign currency control laws, and even in Malaysia we mustn't use another method of payment between residents than the local currency, ringgit Malaysia. So I can't sell you officially my used car or something and charge you in Bitcoin. And that one is stifling a lot, I think. Yeah, how to say that? There's probably some benefits to this. I'm not that macroeconomist to say that we would need to abolish this, but I consider that as one stumbling block why Malaysia may not walk as fast as its regional neighbors.
Okay, Mastura, we are waiting for your answer.
Okay, I'm going to come in from a slightly different perspective. I think, when you look at something like this, when you talk about industry developing a vertical or something like this, it's not just, you have to look at the whole holistic point of view. You need to have at least look at what they call the steep V, or the first framework, and you have to look at the risk that for your people first, before you look at other things. So unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not very sure, but the control that we have on our currency is actually a reaction to the Tom Yum effect that we had way back then. So in order to enable that sandbox environment, you have to actually make a trade-off with some of the things. So you have to play within that and not think of yourself like, Malaysia is totally like US or like China or like Singapore or like this. So in some of this environment, you need to think as a second, in terms of the advantage of second mover, probably not the advantage of first mover, because you're just not the hub. But having said that, I think we've done pretty good in terms of opening up the minds of acceptance for this very new and still developing space. And I think there's a lot of interest from the government side to actually come in and actually use this to or still at testing stage on its environment itself. So Mampu, which is in charge of a lot of government data, is looking at this and seeing and how we can actually use this to streamline operations within the government agencies and others, right? So I think in a way, I pick a little bit from what Arthur was saying just now. It's not just about cryptocurrency. And we're seeing a lot of new stuff that's coming up, and basically for Malaysia, since RMK 10, that's 2011, the government has been pushing for the industry to go in the front and to lead the whole development. So I think this has been real bonus for Malaysia, this area, because we're attracting new kinds of attitude from the industry. Say, okay, you help us with the infrastructure, but we will do the work. So in that sense, I think both the government and the people, I give them 7.5.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Actually, I have learned a lot. Okay, over the last moderating these sessions, I've learned a lot in the last. I reflected, and I think I've shot myself short. I was actually positioning it very low, but maybe it's because of the negative bias that I get because I'm, managing a community and I'm reading a lot of negative news community lately. But anyways, my biggest takeaway, okay, so far is that what the associations have done up to this point and how we got here so far is basically open up minds, right? Okay, and in terms of and we have achieved that. Now is the time, okay, to grow the industry. So I'd like to take a different point of view, okay, because yesterday we talked a lot about the different other areas, okay, like how the media, okay, we can improve media and such. Let's talk a little bit about policies. Okay, we have developed, okay, wise, okay, we have digital asset exchanges. Soon we have IEOs, okay, which means places where people can apply to issue new digital assets so that they can exist in Malaysia. I'd like to get your opinion. What's next? Okay, what do you think, okay, should be a priority? What kind of new policies do you hope to see in the short term, okay, and in the long term? Arthur, would you like to go first? Say, what kind of policies, okay, do you hope would see next, okay, implemented in Malaysia in the
Yeah.
short term? Say
Yeah.
12, short term being 12 months. 3 months is too short. 3 months is too short.
Yeah.
12 months, short
Yeah.
term 12 months, long term is like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's like I've been in this space for quite some time, probably like 3.5 years, which seems light years with so many things that have happened. And then I guess my expectations that will happen, with what's needed from a regulation standpoint, I kind of remove the expectations, right? Because I think to me, it used to be one. I think a lot of people, I guess, in this industry want things to change so we can facilitate faster innovation, implementing in all these different things out in the world. But I think with what Maz was saying, there's a lot of different consideration with any business, anything that you are going to disrupt. You need to manage the risk, and also there's so many things to kind of cover, from so from investors point of view, user protection, how that looks like. There's a lot of unknowns that we don't know what will happen, and that's you can't stop innovation from happening, but you still need to think through about what the potential impact would be. So I think like taxation is a big one, right? Well, I know I'm talking a lot about the crypto space, but this has moved a lot. But I think I'd rather see sort of, instead of regulations change, is like support around whether it be associations, working with the private and public sector to produce something that is actually really beneficial using like blockchain technology. And I think that would just be just a bigger message than just a lot of people trying to capitalize on the market. I was an advisory back in the ICO days. Lots of people just wanted to raise money, and there's nothing really there. But now I think it's a little bit changed. Now we've gone through a number of lots of people doing education now in this space, and people are a little bit more well versed. But yeah, maybe it would be cool to kind of see something like blockchain being implemented in some government project that really will benefit, whether it be from efficiency or cost basis, whatever. And then that would be better than watching regulations change, because I think a lot of regulations that are out there, they're well established. Sure, people might be frustrated wanting things to change, that to kind of fit their innovation that they want to change. But I think a lot of structure is out there, and it's proven to work. I think the main thing for me is really looking at a national system for innovation. I think that would be the most what I would like to see in the next 12 months. Maybe in 12 months is sort of like, I don't know, like identify a couple of projects, and then in 36 months is making it happen. I think maybe that's how I'll look for it. And then from there, then we'll see how things change, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting, because yesterday we had a conversation with Harpreet, okay, and Ibrahim about that actually there are a lot of success stories, okay, successful implementations, like for example the
Mm.
administration of the vaccine, okay,
Yeah.
just that marketing wise, right, okay, maybe they're just too busy, okay, to let people know that this is actually
Probably.
happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, Colbert, okay, what kind of Colbert, what kind of new policies, okay, do you hope we would see, okay, now that we have digital asset exchanges, we have, opened up minds, okay, institutional adoption coming soon, we have IEOs. What's next for you? What do you hope, okay, we see in 12 months or 36 months?
Well, maybe certain areas like accounting and how, let's say, corporates can actually park cryptocurrencies in their books. I think that's something that's been mooted and been asked around, like in community groups and even Facebook. So currently, like most of the companies like in USA right now are already doing that. Maybe basically the demand will come to Malaysian companies, public listed or private wise. That's kind of a boring thing for individuals, but for companies that are looking at that, I think currently their only mandate is probably just to pick up like ETFs or even equity, which is in the traditional side. But some companies are already asking, how do they do that? How do I, let's say, value this cryptocurrency in the next 10 years? What's the upside? And how do I actually provide custodian services on this? So that's some of the things that's been asked right now. So we want to see probably more education coming from that side and see more of our, let's say, members in the association doing that for, let's say, other agencies and accounting, let's say, industry players also. Yeah.
Got it. So in order for, like the incoming interest in terms of institutional adoption, now that we've got people to open up their minds, right? Okay, we need accountants. Okay, we need lawyers. Do we have enough supply for that? Okay, that is what you like to see, okay, more of, okay, in the industry. Rene, let's get your thoughts, okay, about this as well. Especially you are from you're a developer firm as well. You are a technology provider, right? What do you hope, okay, to see in the short term, next 12 months, and hope to see in 36 months?
Okay. So first, let me say that my field of expertise with my business now went mostly into the non-fintech sector, right? I'm avoiding the financial matters and focusing on the non-fintech means like distribution chain management, authenticity of items, and these things. Like our company name says, we tag products and create digital representations of them. So that's a bit of a different sector, and I don't really think that policies are really required for the use of database and blockchain technologies to enhance transparency and supply chain matters. So please don't create too many policies in that sector. But I want to mention something on this fintech sector, whereby I foresee that in the maybe even short term we could see something like the new digital banks coming now, or even traditional banks allowing customers to hold crypto token assets alongside currencies in their banking portfolios, right? And in other countries of the world, we already have this. This is especially countries where they recognize cryptocurrencies as currencies. Corbett has touched a good point here that this is not the situation in Malaysia yet. Even in our company, actually, which is a young startup business, we hold crypto tokens from a previous fundraising round, actually, where investors pledged in crypto tokens. And we cannot treat this as currencies, but it is intangible assets which we need to dispose of with a disposal of assets transaction in our bookkeeping, and it's a bit complicated, right? So I would love to see in the short term this maybe even banks offering services for holding crypto tokens. And for the company use, what Koba touched on, this one, it could be nice if BNM published the daily exchange rates to use in the accounting of companies. And I don't need to go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko to find my exchange rates, save a screenshot, and then convince the auditors that this is a trusted source. End of the year, right? If they saw a print screen from BNM, much better than from CoinGecko. Sorry, CoinGecko, right, friends? But the auditors somehow prefer BNM over you for finding the exchange rates.
Okay,
yeah.
Very, very interesting. I'm going to put a note on that. See whether we can progress that as well. Now, Mastura, in your opinion, right? Okay, are there any like blockers? Okay, significant blockers right now that you would like to see improve in the space?
Okay, before that, I think Rene had some, that's a very good input, Rene. And probably Access Malaysia can actually carry that and have a talk with BNM and how you can actually carry that forward. I think from my side, I am, in this space, the thing that was most amazing to me was how Binance became a unicorn in 6 months. So I think, Malaysia has been looking at how we can create unicorns, and we have yet to reach that level. So I'm just looking at, how we can create some kind of framework from the whatever that we have learned in this space to actually how shall I say that, do the leapfrog to a new format, or to create a new framework on how we can manage our startups differently in this space, so that they can grow very, very fast and very, very big. And it's a good thing because a lot of people in this space are young people, so they have a lot of energy still, and have a lot of years to work. So I think it can be done. It's just that I myself, I haven't found a way out on how you format these things. But I think this the market, like Arthur said just now, the market environment is the one that we should be focusing more, rather than regulatory. Because if you put in a regulation, once for you to have it endorsed or verified, it will take 1 or 2 years. So by then, in this space, things have changed so much. You get things changing in from ICO to NFT in 3 years. So by the time
Yeah.
you finish all ICO, it no longer
Already
exists.
changed already. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
We had
So
DeFi summer last year. Now we're NFT. Yeah.
it's not that I'm against regulation in that sense, but I think I'm quite comfortable with what we have right now. It's quite loose in the sense, but if that regulation helps, do it. And I think we've been doing that. If the regulation helps, it helps create something. SC has done it. But if it's going to stop you at that point and say, well, this is ICO. You're not going to make, 3 years from now, this is how you guys wanted this 3 years ago, right? So now we're doing it for you. Now you're saying that we're wrong. And things that you want to change will take time, because regulatory environment is like this. It needs a lot of endorsement from a number of parties, not just one or two. So I do not want to say too much about regulatory. I think so far we have quite a good regulatory environment for this space. So let's not make it too tight, or and I think so far Access has helped to identify what are the not so good areas or matters that we need to attend to, and they brought this up to the regulatory people. So I think it's been working quite well. Does that help?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
So,
But that's another way. One area that I think we need to work on is the cybersecurity, because I think it's beginning to emerge as a major threat, and both players and the government have to look at it within this sphere, or else at one point we're going to go loggerhead, and there's going to be a lot of disagreement on where we should be going. Okay, so that's my input.
Right. So to what you just described sounds like the Holy Grail, okay, which is basically creating a sandbox environment that actually, creates, you put the ingredients together, right, and come out from the other side, okay, are unicorns, right? It's really something, okay, that I think that consensus-wise, okay, we all want that. How to get that, okay, it's something which I don't know, okay, but I think we can now, okay. Shall we talk a little bit? Shall we pivot, okay, to talk about the scrutiny of non-custodial settlements for regulatory matters, like travel rule scrutiny and criminalization of self-custody crypto holdings management? Rene?
Okay, yeah. Thanks for picking up on this one. There's actually a point quite close to my heart. Yes, you or even maybe the audience might have heard about this, that there's a difference between custodial and non-custodial ways how to hold your crypto tokens or even stable coins, right? You have them in your own wallet, or you have them with an exchange or a digital asset custodian provider. And there's now recently discussions coming up, and there's even maybe policies coming out towards regulating that when you send from one exchange or from one digital asset custodian to the address or which is registered under another custodian, then alongside this transaction, the one custodian or the one wallet operator, if it was a custodian wallet, needs to convey even the information about the name of the asset of of that account address holder to the recipient, not bank, but next custodian, right? So they share the payment through blockchain networks, and in another channel they share the information about the sender and the recipient, which is maybe a good idea, yeah, to avoid money laundering matters. But it's a complication when you send from a custodial wallet to a non-custodial, which is actually the idea of the blockchain and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, that you can have non-custodial, be your own bank themed wallets, right? And now it happens more and more often. It happened to other members of our association already, and even I saw it a few days ago. You want to withdraw somewhere from some service, USDT tokens or BTC, and they give you the requirement: please do not give us a non-custodial wallet address. We can only send to custodial addresses, and please prove with a screenshot where we can see your verification level and name and this from that provider. Wow, it's like we want to move freely cryptocurrency tokens around the world. And then we get these regulations that non-custodial wallets almost get criminalized, right? I don't exactly know what's the best way out, but I would like to not go into such a controlled environment with the crypto tokens in the blockchain world. So that's I'm a bit worried about the next months and years to come with this regulation and possible policies in that direction.
Right.
I want to bring up this point.
Colbert, can you share some thoughts on this? I mean, there were conversations before with the regulators about non-custodial wallets regulation around this, right? Okay, but has things changed now?
Yeah, I think most of the talks were done together with the regulators and even our association in Singapore, our so-called sister association there. And I think it has culminated to basically the current guidelines in FAFTA. So I believe there could be some iterations, but I actually didn't follow up on the regulations in that side. But I think there's probably new updates on that side. Yeah.
What about Arthur? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think, look, I just feel that where we are in the space today and where we need to be tomorrow, I think there just needs to be some more due diligence in place to give people the comfort on before things I guess move forward. And I think overall in when you look at so you look at the bigger picture on what the travel rule supports, and it's supposed to protect like the universe, right? Protect the whole world, because we're trying to manage how things are moved in and out, and whether or not these assets could be used to fund obviously all these activities that we want to stop. But I do think there is the self bank does have a place for it. It's just a matter of the framework and structure in which it works. Like, so if you could say you had assets and it could only be used to acquire certain things, and they're all safe things, it'd be food, clothing, things like that, then it may make sense, right? You kind of restrict what that currency is used for, right? But then you could say, oh, well, you can use they're basically food tokens, and you can funnel it because it's worth some value to someone else who then sells it off to someone else, and you create this whole black market of these food tokens. I don't know, but I do believe I just in concept, this whole self-banking and being able to have self-custody, there is a place for it. It's just how it's going to work. And maybe it doesn't need to apply for the whole world. It's just a community of users that accept the framework. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is a very interesting topic. Okay, we need to see how this develops over the next months, because this will eventually culminate into something that might if managed poorly, it can halt innovation, right? It can actually prevent people from. Do you think that it will actually prevent people from or at least the new blood? Because I look at this industry, right? Okay, and how I process this is that we have the degens. We have the degens. The degens, are all out. Okay, they create things that nobody thought it was, and that's usually where sometimes something sticks, right? But then we have this call for don't do this. Okay, that's the thing. The constant balance between regulation and over-regulation.
Before that, Jason, I'm interested if, let's say, Puan Mastura has any updates on the FAFTA travel rules. Yeah. Muted, Puan Mastura.
Squeeze her. Let's squeeze her. What does she think?
What was that again, Colbert? Sorry.
What do you think about the FAFTA rules?
Okay, I'm not going to
This
answer.
travel rule, this travel rule that custodial wallet operators need to pass along the data about the account holders to the recipients.
Well, it's complicated. Can I say that? So I'm not going to answer you on that. I'll stay here at that. Well, actually, I think it's work in progress. So I think, we have access again right now. They've been talking to regulators and all these things. So I think this will probably be the best platform for you guys to actually collect data and the information, whatever that's needed, and bring it up for discussion on consultative basis. I think we've always worked like this. So let's do that, and it cannot just be my opinion or something.
Okay,
Sorry.
understand. We respect that. Okay. It's not an easy topic. Okay. Anyways, I think that let's look of any questions from the audience. Okay. So there's one thought. Okay. Again, I'm just going to ask this question, because the audience actually asked this question, which is that we cannot deny that Binance, right? Okay, we cannot deny that Binance has done, right? Okay, they've created something amazing. Okay, that's why they've got a lot of traction, right? What do you think is the reason? Okay, that's the question that's coming from the audience. What do you think is the reason why the recent Binance ban happened? Wouldn't that kind of like send the wrong message? That no, we don't like this kind of thing. Maybe Colbert, what do you think first?
Yeah, definitely they have innovative products and services, and I know a lot of users are using them. So even like Malaysian users, some of them prefer it over the local digital asset exchanges. Of course, there's always risk when, let's say, something goes wrong and you're not able to actually contact Binance via email or a support ticket. So that actually happens. And some users have complained, but I'm not sure whether actually that was solved by Binance. But of course, at the end of the day, if you have local exchanges, it's easier to just basically pick up let's say, a ticket or a call sometimes, and then basically, like, if you wanted to, actually all the addresses are on their websites and walk up to them. I think that is never a problem. So I think there's always risk if you deal with a company that actually doesn't have a local registered company that handles taxation and problems in a timely manner. Yeah.
Okay. So if there are no more questions, I'm actually skimming through the questions across the different channels, right? If there is no more questions, from the audience, I would like to thank, our panelists, for joining us today. Today we learned how we got here today. The role of associations to help has evolved. At the beginning, around like 3 to 4 years ago, it was a very different time. A lot of work needs to be done to open up people's minds, and associations have successfully done that. Moving forward, not goal right now is to grow the industry. Clearly, there are a lot of challenges, but if you are a student, if you are a professional, an accountant, a lawyer, and see, that this is an industry, especially during this pandemic, very challenging time, it's fast growing. It needs good, talented people, right? Please join your local association, join Access Malaysia, join the FinTech Association Malaysia, join the Labuan FinTech Association Malaysia, and let's continue to grow the industry. We have a lot more content to come. I'd like to thank Rene, Arthur, Kak Mastura, and Colbert. so much, okay, for your time. I know you're all very busy people.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Right, so that brings a conclusion, okay, to Malaysia Blockchain Week. Right. Now a few announcements, okay. We have a brand new NFT, okay, for you to claim, okay, a proof of attendance token. Okay, scan the QR code, join the Discord channel, insert the secret code, okay, that's available in the pin message there, communicate that and put in your ETH address wallet, okay, and you can claim your NFT token for week number 1, because we just ended Malaysia Blockchain Week, right? Also register for the 2-day conference Ignite which is happening, okay, on week number 6. Early birds get free tickets, so register now for the 2-day conference by scanning the QR code here. Last but not least, okay, next week, come back next week on Monday, because we're kicking off Southeast Asia DeFi Week, day number 1, with Stani Kulishov of Aave. He's been here before, okay, last year twice, all right, and he's here to go and update us, okay, something very, very special. I won't spoil it here. See you next Monday. And have a good weekend. Bye.